guests, Governor Tomlin, Chancellor Skidmore, Delegate Pino, Mayor Higgins, and Dr. Leonard Nelson. Board of Governors and Foundation Directors, honored guests, distinguished faculty members, dedicated staff, students, and friends of Bridgemont. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you to this ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrating the renovation of Davis Hall, a 14-month project for a 41-year-old building that was built to serve and will continue to serve for at least the next 40 years community college students seeking high-demand, high-quality technical education. As we begin the ceremony this afternoon, I would like to recognize the following. Please stand. We have today Dr. Sam Davis, son of Dean A. Reed Davis. Where's Dr. Davis? For whom this building was named upon his retirement after serving the college for 23 years. Dr. Davis came here from Florida, so we're thrilled that you're here. We're pleased to have local, county, and city government officials here today. So if you fit in any of those categories, would you please stand as well to be recognized? Also with us, we have some of our board members from our foundation and our board of governors. Would you please stand? We have with us as well many members of our technical program advisory board. We are having our annual joint meeting today, and this is sort of the center of those meetings, with some advisory committee meetings before this event and some after. So we're thrilled to have business and industry representatives who serve on those committees. Would you stand and be recognized, please? Advisory board members. We're also pleased to have our colleagues from WVU. Would you please stand? I'd also like to recognize Mr. George Bossy, who was facilities director that he actually coordinated this lengthy project. George, would you please stand and be recognized? Also, the major players in this event were the architects and engineers from ZMM. We have some representatives here today from ZMM. Would you please stand and be recognized? The Awards and Ceremonies Committee, who planned today's events, please stand as well. Thank you for all of your hard work in getting this together. Where are you? They're out. They're out there setting up the food. But there were about 10 of them, so let's get them. And last but not least, I do want to, every employee and every student who are survivors of what we did the year of extreme makeover, to please stand. Survivors. Wikipedia described the TV reality show Extreme Makeover as a show that did jaw-dropping work that transformed deserving people's lives dramatically. That, I believe, is what we are celebrating today. Jaw-dropping work that will transform our faculty, staff, and students' lives dramatically. As we gathered, you saw some of the before, during, and after shots of the renovation, and I hope that gave you a sense of the magnitude of this makeover project, making over this 1970s building into an energy-efficient, comfortable, modern learning and working environment. The most phenomenal part of the project was that our No summer classes. Davis Hall, closed. Totally. The lobby ceiling was removed, and 3rd and 6th floors were shut down totally for demolition of all the ceilings, the electrical wiring, and mechanical improvements. All faculty and staff who worked site contracts were relocated into Westmoreland Hall and the Publishing Innovation Center. The lobby reopened with its warehouse look, and I think there's a picture up there, the ceilings with the girders. The warehouse look to greet our largest class ever, over 1,000 students. Of course it would be this year, right? Over 1,000 students in mid-August, and logistics consumed our work from this point on. Mid-August to mid-October. 5th floor, totally closed. Demolition and renovation. All classes, which were mainly computer classes, were moved, as well as all the faculty and staff offices. Mid-October to mid-December, 4th floor, closed. All CAD drafting classes and other classes, the Adult Basic Education Center moved for the 2nd time, as well as faculty and staff offices. And then here comes the long stretch, mid-December to March. The lobby that you entered and the mezzanine were closed again, totally closed off. Back door entrance only. Temporary partitions around the lobby well. So you walked in to this little space, and here were temporary partitions to push the elevator buttons. Beautiful ceiling was installed. Please look at the ceiling. The lighting was replaced, the restrooms were upgraded. All administrative offices located on the mezzanine moved for a 2nd time. And we all got to know each other quite well because there were probably 3 to 5 offices in one classroom on 4th and 5th floor at a time. So it built the team. March and April, the basement was closed. Classes were moved again. The chiller, I think you saw a photo, the chiller was replaced. It was a major operation on a Saturday. April to August, the windows, every window was replaced. This auditorium was renovated April through August. Still smells new, doesn't it, Governor? Now, even though we are not completely finished today, and we have not closed out the project, due to unavoidable delays in getting some appropriate materials and furniture, you know the drill with construction. No one has to move again. Our floors are open and functional, are energy efficient, and are comfortable for learning and working. There are no immense signs posted at the elevators showing where 20 to 30 classes were moved to a new location over the weekend. No more jackhammers heard when lecturing or participating in a conference call. No more layers of dust on tables and seats. No more cranes hoisting those large chillers on the rooftop. No more windows being taken out and put back in when we were sitting right beside the window. We are truly grateful that through all of this, not one faculty, staff, or student member was injured. And I only had one student complaint. One student complaint. A student was a little upset because he couldn't study in the lobby. We recommended finding library. So that's the timeline and the activities that we have lived through during this renovation. Governor Tomlin, Chancellor Skidmore, we know that he's cutting ribbons all over the state because there are several new or renovated locations resulting from our community college farm, the very first one ever, and we're so proud of that. But in our opinion, we think this is the project that calls for greater celebration. The faculty and sustainability values, to repurpose and preserve Davis Hall, which was constructed under the leadership of Dr. Leonard Nelson, to serve as the home for associate degree programs on this campus. This renovated facility will continue the legacy of our college as a leader in technical education. And speaking of our legacy, we are so fortunate today to have Dr. Leonard Nelson, Professor Emeritus of West Virginia Tech, with us. President Nelson had the foresight and the vision to establish the first community college component on a baccalaureate campus in 1966. And he had the vision to have this facility constructed where we sit today in 1971. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Leonard Nelson to the podium. Dr. Nelson.
Joe, platform guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back on the campus. And I'm here to talk about when this building was built 40-some years ago, and we were building several buildings at that time, and the city of Montgomery was so delighted because of the B&O tax. And I hope they got a pretty hefty B&O tax nowadays. I see Jim there, and I see he's aged. I had two blonde boys, twins, that were running around campus when I was here and around town. And I want you to say that, to know that tomorrow they'll be 65 years old. So it's a shock to me. But this building culminated really from the development of the community technical college on campus. We were the first in the state to have a community and technical college, and many of the schools followed. But we developed it to a point where we had to have a building, and we wanted a building that was in the center of campus that had status, because we felt that the community and technical college needed status. And I went to Pittsburgh with the architect at the University of Pittsburgh to see a building that they built, Community and Technical College, and they put their college, Community and Technical College building, right in the center of the campus. And in that building, they had baccalaureate programs and they had graduate programs and the Community and Technical College program. To let people know that this program did fit in, and it was an important program. I know we spent $1.8 million to build this building, and that was a lot of money at that time. And the fact that they put in, I think, $4 million to renovate it, quite an accomplishment. And in addition to that, Ken tells me that they spent around $700,000 renovating the heating system. So we got a lot of money in this building, and it's for a very important purpose, the Community and Technical College. And I was reading in the Gazette the other day about Putnam County, and that they were glorifying it, and they should, because they only have a 5.6% unemployment rate. But they were quarreling about the fact that the industries didn't have people that were sufficiently educated to fit into the various requirements of these industries. Well, I thought to myself, I've got to tell that to Joe, because that has to be a responsibility for a community and technical college. And that's the purpose administration helped develop the Community Technical College. Then there was Woody Buell, who was one of the deans of the Community Technical College. Tremendous job in moving it forward. And then there was Dr. Don Hagan, who I give much credit to, a wonderful administrator who really took the printing program to where it is today. He had that real desire to develop the program. So we've got a lot of people that are responsible for where the Community Technical College is today, and for them we're quite grateful. Dr. Harris, I wish you much continued success. And you've done so well to date, and I know that there are grander days ahead.
Thank you. Again, we're so fortunate to have Dr. Nelson in our presence today. Thank you for your leadership and insight. We are also fortunate to have with us today Mayor Jim Higgins, who is an avid supporter of Tech and Bridgemont. And I'd like for you to join me in welcoming Mayor Higgins to the stage. You might tell us about
Gordon, you put that up to that, didn't you? I saw that sneaky grin on your face. They gave me this card when we came in with all the people that are sitting here, and I took it not because I needed to remember their names, me. Dr. Nelson pointed out I've aged. I didn't know that your sons, and it's Randy and Dave, we share the same birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if they're, no, I'm 64. But I wasn't going to brag on that. Governor Tomlin, Chancellor Skidmore, and Delegate Pino, Dr. Nelson, Joe. On behalf of the City of Montgomery, I welcome all of you here today. As Joe said, I am an advocate for Tech and for Bridgemont. Proud to have them as a part of our community. Always have been, always will be. I am a graduate of West Virginia Tech, as are my brothers and sisters, and my father taught there, and one sister. And it always pleases me greatly to be asked to return here, even though it's in the city, but to be a part of any type of celebration like this. I want to thank those that are responsible, Governor, for providing the funds to do the work on this building and the B&O tax. Dr. Nelson pointed out. That's always nice. And one thing else I'd like to say, because I was told to keep it brief and sit down. And I always try to do what I'm told by the teachers. What we've been through here recently, and I don't want to add a sad note to this, but I do feel a strong urge to at least recognize five people in here that haven't been recognized yet, because they do a great job for us. Two of them are standing in the back, and they're two of Montgomery's finest. We have two of the state's finest that Governor Tomlin came with, and one from Tech. And I would like to recognize them at this time also. Dr. Sam, it's always good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for your remarks. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And there is no better representative of our state legislature to bring greetings than Mr. John Pino. Delegate Pino has first-hand experience in realizing the value of our educational programs, as he has entrusted some grandchildren to us over the years. And he also owns a construction company, and he knows the intricacies of a major renovation project. Delegate Pino.
Well, when you have 8 kids, I guess you can contribute. And surely, and all the grandkids, it also helps you win elections when that runs around. Let me say that I'm honored to be here, extremely honored, and pleased with what I see. I'm pleased to be up here with such wonderful people as our wonderful governor and all these guests here. But to address them all, I would just say, West Virginia well-wishers all, and I think that gets everybody in this space, because I know that you are West Virginia well-wishers all. It's a special honor for me and privilege to bring greetings from your legislative delegation. That would include Senators Laird and Miller, and my colleagues, Senator Delegate Perry and Delegate Staggers. And it's particularly rewarding for us to have within our districts Bridgemont Community and Technical College. You know, I can remember when then Senate President Tomlin and a former speaker that I had a close association with, Robert Kiston Beckley, decided that we had to do more. We were seeing that our population, our populace needed special education that didn't always have to come with a 4-year degree, but certainly career and technical college was part of that, and there was a renewed focus on that. And I can't remember exactly the years, but I can tell you that we owe a lot to the Senate President and now Governor Tomlin for his efforts in expanding our thrust and focus on career and technical colleges. And this institution gives substantial proof to that delivery of career and technical college education, and is a vital component of our efforts to prepare students for jobs. I say that because in the last few days, I noticed in a paper that certain Putnam County, I'll just cut right to the chase. They had jobs, but they had people that couldn't meet the qualifications. And that saddened me a lot, knowing what we do here at Bridgemont, because I know, given a chance, if those people would come here, we would adequately prepare those students for the jobs that are being offered. So I want to make that point and stress that it's so important. You can't overstate the importance of the career and technical education. And for all that we've done here in remodeling this wonderful space, and a lot that I was going to say has already been said. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a presentation and get off this podium here. I'm going to give this to our wonderful Dr. Joe Harris. It's a blue book. Now, we haven't had blue books in several years now. They're out fresh, and this is hot off the press. And I want to give it to her as a memento of this special day to commend her efforts. And I want to say that this is a memento of a very special day. Bridgemont Community and Technical College Revitalization Remodel, bridging dreams and aspirations with success for those who will learn here. And this is sincerely from your legislative delegation. And page 618, it tells a lot about what you just said about Bridgemont and what Dr. Nelson said. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Delegate Pino. We're so thrilled that you represent Fayette County in the legislature for all your good work. It's now my pleasure to introduce Chancellor Jim Skidmore, who we commonly refer to as the father or maybe grandfather of community college education. His leadership, vision, and persistence, and I want to emphasize persistence, in getting things done has created our 10-college system that works together to meet business and industry needs for the
grandfather thing. Could be also, if you want, a grandmother of Bridgemont. I think we know who that is. Just be careful when you say something when I follow you with this finger. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests. It's a pleasure for me to be here. It's been mentioned that we've had several ribbon cuttings here lately, and Governor, this is kind of fun to do this. We've had so many of these that you might think that I'm also running for office, but I am not. But it's been a pleasure to go around the state of West Virginia and see what is happening with our community and technical college system. And I'll have to admit that there were times that I thought it would never happen. And it is happening, and obviously there's a lot of people to thank when that happens. But first, I do want to commend Dr. Nelson. Looking back at the 6 original components, this may be the only one, or one of very few, that actually constructed a community and technical college building for that purpose. A lot of the places, they were just spread all over campus. You couldn't tell they had a community college. And so I commend you for your foresight in doing that, because you did build this building for that purpose. And it has been noted, it served that purpose well over the years. And it is really a great occasion that we can renovate this grand old building so that it can continue to do the type of things it's been doing over the last 40 years. But as I mentioned, before any of this could happen, and I was beginning to wonder if it was ever going to happen. And I've told this story before, and the governor's told me ever how many ribbon cuttings we've had. He's heard me talk about it. So I'm sure he tunes me out anyway, so Governor, you don't have to listen to this one. But we went through a process. If you know anything about the legislative process, which I know some of you do, you go through the process of getting legislation passed, approved by both sides of the aisle, the Senate and the House, to approve legislation to sell bonds. We managed to get that done finally. It took us a couple times, but we got it, got the support. And then as soon as we got the okay, the legislation, the money was allocated for the bond debt, what happened? The market went down, we couldn't sell the bonds. So we had to wait and wait and wait, it seemed forever. But finally, bond market did improve to the point. Rich Donovan down here knows this whole story. We finally got to sell the bonds. And then we sold the bonds and went through the whole process, which takes much longer than I wish it did, but to sell the bonds and award the projects. Now, as I said, before that could happen, leading up to that point, there are a lot of people to thank. At that time, Governor Tomlin was president of the Senate. And again, if you know anything about the political process, and not anything passes the House or the Senate unless the Speaker and the President are for that in most cases. So this was a case where Governor Tomlin, Senator Tomlin's time, his leadership helped us get these bonds through the legislation and get the money allocated to build the buildings around the state of West Virginia. Also, there were other folks in that leadership, obviously the chairs of the Finance Committees at the time, Senator Plymouth was chair of Education Committee, and all of those delegates and senators from around the state, including those from this region, that supported the bonds. So without their help, we could never be where we are here today and have the facilities that we have. And if you're going to offer community and technical college education that is desperately needed in the state of West Virginia, you have to have the proper facilities to do that. And you have to have the facilities that will allow you to deliver technical programs. And the renovation of this facility will continue to provide opportunities for students to attend Bridgemont. And they will also provide the opportunity for students to leave here with the skills to enter the high-wage, high-demand jobs that this college does. As stated before, they've always been a leader in the delivery of technical education. And we have always looked at, and when it was WVU Tech, Community and Technical College, and now Bridgemont, we've always looked at this college to be the leader in the delivery of technical programs, and we'll continue to do that. So Joe, congratulations. On one other thing I want to say. I really want to thank, and I know Joe's already done, those of you here at Bridgemont that had to go through this process, and I know all of you, just like Connie Fox sitting back there, did it with a smile on your face. Well, thank you very much, Joe. Congratulations. We look for great things to continue to come from Bridgemont, and I know it will. Now it's my privilege to read a letter from Senator Joe Manchin. He says, on behalf of the citizens of the Mountain State and as your United States Senator, it is my privilege to extend my congratulations to Bridgemont Community and Technical College staff and administration for its renovation at Davis Hall. Renovating a vital building on any school's campus truly shows the commitment and pride its staff and officials have for the campus. The new windows, wiring, furnishings, lighting for Davis Hall will make a good first impression to prospective students and staff and will serve current students well. Renovation projects are not easy. I think you all know that. And I commend the faculty, staff, and students for their patience with the process. Part of being an educator is having a vision for education for your school and your students. Dr. Harris and the faculty here have demonstrated time and time again that they have that vision and the energy to bring that vision to reality. Part of being a student is learning in any environment. The students at Bridgemont have made me and this state very proud over the years. Thanks to all of you for continuing to grow and learn. There is a saying that you should always strive to leave a place better than you left it. Davis Hall was designated and equipped to support technical programs and has served as the center of community and technical college education on the Bridgemont campus since the 1970s. I am proud to see the efforts made to keep Davis Hall as up-to-date and dependable as ever as its students can get the most out of their time at Bridgemont. I thank Dr. Joe Harris, ZMM Architects and Engineers, as well as the staff and administration for Bridgemont Community and Technical College for making the renovation of Davis Hall a tremendous success. Please accept my best wishes for your continued success. With warm regards, Joe Manchin III, United States Senator. Now it is my privilege to introduce to you an individual that is committed to advancing higher education in the state of West Virginia, and particularly community and technical college education in West Virginia. He has a vision for education, and he has a vision for community and technical college education, and understands that the importance of community and technical college education to the state of West Virginia. And he never, ever has an opportunity to forget that. As most of you know, President Joanne Tomlin of Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College happens to live in the governor's mansion. So the governor could not forget, not that he would, the importance of community and technical college education. And he supports it all the time. I've heard it over and over again, his commitment to education. So it is my privilege to introduce to you the governor of the great state of West Virginia, Governor Earl Ray Tomlin.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Skidmore. It's indeed my pleasure to be here. You know, I was sitting here on stage thinking that, buildings like this, in schools, it should provoke thinking. As I walked through, I was thinking what a beautiful entrance it was, and what a beautiful auditorium this is here today.
And I was thinking about a little bit of the history of Davis Hall. You know, it was built, started in 1970, and Madam President, that's the year that I graduated from high school, started to college, and I was also looking at the price tag, along with being a tax mayor, $4.1 million that it took here. And I thought, you know, now, if Davis Hall got a makeover, then I looked at the grandfather of community colleges and I wonder what we could do with a little makeover. Everybody else at all, but I'm indeed honored to be here today, and we'll think more about those makeovers. But I want to thank the Chancellor, President Harris, and Dr. Leonard Nelson, Delegate Pino, and Mayor Higgins. Thank you for your commitment to the region and to our future here. The renovations that we celebrate today were completed with the future in mind. The rich history of Davis Hall is rooted in the dreams of Dean A. Reed Davis. He wanted our youth to succeed, for young people to become the experts and leaders they were meant to be. His son, Dr. Sam Davis, who's been introduced, is with us today. And Dr. Davis, through this renovation, your father will be forever honored. A lot has changed since Dean Davis was an active member of the community and technical college system. And from what I've been told, he was ahead of his time. Dean Davis was an advocate of associate degrees and community college education. He knew a college degree could open doors for those who earned it, and he was right. And President Harris, each faculty and staff member at Bridgemont believed in the power of education, and more importantly, so do your students. And that's why each of you have moved offices, changed classrooms, and found your way around the obstacles that come with months of renovations. And today is proof that it will all be worth it. Davis Hall is now an example of a modern-day learning environment, one where valuable knowledge is acquired in laboratories and clinics, and where more than 1,000 people receive free dental work in a state-of-the-art treatment center here at the college. I think Dean Davis will be proud of this facility, the one that bears his name. Even more so, I think he'll be proud of the students who learn here, who have earned their degree and will earn in these classrooms, and today help make our state great. I'm proud of each of you here today, and thank you for your commitment to education. You know, Chancellor Skidmore and others and members of the legislature, we've worked for over 15 years to develop the kind of community and technical college that we have in our state today. And I can tell you that our 10 colleges that we have spread all around the state, they are doing a fantastic job. And that's one of the reasons that we in West Virginia today are very proud of the kind of businesses that we've been able to attract. Because when people come in to want to invest in West Virginia, I always have the Chancellor sitting there with me. And part of the deal is, you know, we've got a good business climate, good change, we're paying our bills, we're not raising taxes, we're lowering them, but we've got some great skilled people in our state. But I always tell them, I said, we've got community colleges around our state, independently accredited now, serving their own areas, and they will go into your workplace or train your employees for you. And that's what businesses look for as we try to create jobs. And I'm so proud of the fact, Dr. Harris, of what you're doing here at Bridgemont, the other 9 presidents, they're going out and going into business saying, what do you need? What kind of skills does your employees need? And that's what it takes to have a good trained workforce. I know that for many years to come here at Davis Hall, this building will be used for that purpose. And I also want to commend Madam President for your partnership with Toyota and the kind of training you're doing to be able to have students working, training, and get their tuition paid for all at the same time. That's innovative thinking on behalf of our community and technical college systems, especially Dr. Joe Harris. Thank you for all you're doing. I know this place will be so proud of it in the years to come, and just keep up the good job that you're doing for the people of West Virginia. Thank you all for having me.
For your constant persistence business and industry partners, and yes, we are working with Putnam County. President Dr. Nelson and Delegate Pino, as our partnership with Toyota, as the governor mentioned, has been announced, and working to reach out along with our sister institution, Canal Valley Community and Technical College. Dr. Bashley is here joining us. We work together with a consortium to try to address the needs of Putnam County, but we need to continue that work and work harder. So we are ever diligent with that initiative. We have been, I think, considered as part of this bond project. We were probably the smallest of the bond projects that have occurred with this big bond for the community college system. So we're one of the smallest projects. But I think, as we said, we're one of the toughest to complete because we lived it. And we're one that has affected the lives daily during this construction. And a project that will stand the test of time. And I think that analogy parallels Bridgemont. Just think about it. We are one of the smallest community colleges in the state of West Virginia. Yet, we were ranked 2 years ago as the 15th fastest growing small community college in the nation. We are one of the toughest, just like this project. We are one of the toughest to complete. We have high academic standards, and we have nationally accredited programs such as our engineering technology, the TACABA accreditation still exists, Dr. Nelson. Our dental hygiene program accredited by the American Dental Association. Our respiratory therapy program accredited by COAR. And we are an institution that affects lives daily, just like this renovation affected our lives daily. We affect lives daily, and we'll stand for the test of time. That's demonstrated over and over again by the success of our graduates and by our other national recognition as a College of Excellence by the Aspen Institute in 2011. We at Bridgemont are grateful for the investment in this administrative headquarters, and we call it the heart of Bridgemont. We have some other buildings around, but Davis Hall, Sam, is the heart of Bridgemont. And we will proceed now to go cut the ribbon to celebrate this 14-month project, this extreme makeover, maybe this spatial that we need. And we'll proceed to the outer lobby and cut the ribbon. Here are sort of the directions that will follow. I'll ask the platform guests to follow me to get to the stairway. And I'll also ask Dr. Davis and Adam Crayson from ZMM to join us on the stairway. And I'll ask the rest of you to gather in the lobby to watch as we cut this ribbon today. And then continue our celebration with informal refreshments. Just mill about and fill up your plate. And take self-guided tours. We decided not to make you get in a clump and get on the elevator with 20 other people, but take self-guided tours. We have a little sheet, of course, of rooms that are open for you to look at. So take self-guided tours at your leisure. Enjoy the rest of the evening with us, and accept our sincere thanks for being here today and helping us celebrate this major upgrade to Davis Hall. So thank you very much.